Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, November 5th, 2015. I'm Lafern Fraser with the details. This country's Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, takes the issue of reparations to the Organization of American States. In addressing a special meeting of the OAS on Wednesday, Prime Minister Gonsalves urged the hemispheric body to assist CARICOM countries in pushing the process forward. He tells the OAS Permanent Council that for more than 200 years, Europe carried out the slave trade and that the need for reparations should not be conceived as a strategic confrontation orchestrated by the Caribbean.
Involves centrally a mature conversation with those European nations for an appropriate recompense to correct the legacies of underdevelopment occasioned by native genocide and African slavery. Note the formulation. For an appropriate recompense to correct the legacies of underdevelopment occasioned by native genocide and African slavery. And since CARICOM is making the claim, we have the former British territories would make the claim in relation to Britain, and Haiti in relation to France, and Suriname in relation to Holland.
He also says the quest for reparations is unquestionably strong and is based on legal and moral grounds.
Is the real lived experiences today of the legacies of underdevelopment which can be traced directly to native genocide and African slavery. To this end, the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, has adopted a 10-point reparations agenda which covers the repairing of the awful material and psychological legacies of underdevelopment in a number of areas, including the economy, poverty reduction, education, health, housing, infrastructure, culture and memorials, the demand for a European apology for native genocide and African slavery, and the special matter of repatriation voluntarily to Africa of Rastafarians.
The revival of the cassava industry here comes not only from improving cassava cultivation, but also through the production and promotion of cassava-based products, such as cassava breads and flour. This was put forward by representative of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, Vameran Extavo, addressing a farmer-buyer linkage workshop on cassava earlier today at the Fisheries Conference Room. Outlining the findings of the processing and marketing development of a cassava industry in the Caribbean, Extavo said that the decision to choose cassava cultivation as a way of revamping the region's agricultural sector came through discussions among several developmental agencies and associations at a recently concluded workshop held in Barbados.
Essentially, we took on cassava because it was felt, based on the research, one, it can create employment opportunities. We can save on foreign exchange by reducing the imports and the amount of food that we import. It is very tolerant to the climate change experiences that we are having in the region. It allows us to use land that we have now taken out, and in the case of St. Vincent, bananas would have been one of the crops you exported, which has been reduced. It allows us to reutilize some of that land. It also has the benefits of added health and nutrition.
The program, she says, aims to look at the production and processing of cassava, cassava markets, and marketing, its consumption and networking. In his opening remarks, Chief Agricultural Officer in the Ministry of Agriculture, Ashley Kane, says, though cassava has been a part of our culture even before European civilization, there is now a significant increase in its usage, not only in the Caribbean, but also internationally. He notes that the workshop aims to address the situation of getting cassava supplies from farmers to the first buyer, which he hopes will in turn reawaken the cultivation of the crop here in SVG.
It is well adapted to our conditions, and as we seek for crops and enterprises that will allow us to meet our different goals as farmers, as a community, this exercise today, this workshop, can go a long way in helping us to build or rebuild or to strengthen a cassava industry in St. Vincent and the Grenadines that will, for many years to come, deliver good value to us as a people.
Kane used the opportunity to encourage more farmers to become associated with the crop. He, however, notes that in order for cassava cultivation to spread throughout SVG, there must be proper marketing arrangements and provisions for the crop to become an important part of the Vincentian diet.
I like us particularly to try and engage the young people, the youngsters, in the eating of cassava and cassava products, because it is only in that way that we'll be able to maintain and sustain and reap the benefits which we expect from this workshop and this training today.
The National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, earlier today held an inception meeting to introduce the Strategic Targeting Methodology, or STM, for prioritizing community disaster risk reduction action and to develop the way forward for implementation. The STM is developed to enhance data collecting so as to inform the authority of the impact owing to the passage of the hazard, thereby providing improved approaches to the decision-making process. Speaking at the opening ceremony, General Director of the Red Cross Society, Bernard Marksman, says that this process of creating improved housing and improved ways of mitigating against the onslaught of natural phenomena is indicative of the shared drive toward achieving a greater measure of community resilience. He added that all stakeholders stand to benefit tremendously from the knowledge of the tool at hand.
This thrust towards the concept of community resilience, whether it is one of the mind or the physical structure of the communities, it is heartening to see evidence of that transformation among our people. The level of consciousness is heightening, and it behooves us, the proponents of disaster management, to continue forging ahead in creating that enabling environment for education and capacity building at all levels of society. Societal transformation can and will manifest itself through the implementation of relevant projects of varying magnitude, utilizing a variety of tools and methodologies.
Marksman says one of the best ways to reduce the impacts of disasters is to invest a lot of time and energy in the disaster-prone communities.
When individuals are trained and given the tools with which to work, their levels of confidence and empowerment rise significantly. When community contingency plans are developed through their own efforts, ownership of what must be done is tenaciously held by them. Once every member of the team understands their own roles and responsibilities before, during, and after an emergency, that knowledge assists tremendously in ensuring the smooth operations of their tasks, thereby provide the vehicle for the strengthening of their communities, thereby following the path to community resilience.
In more on the STM tool, in her remarks at the meeting, Marissa Clark-Marshall, the Integrated Program Coordinator for the International Federation of Red Cross Red Crescent Societies, says that the event is important for SVG since the introduction of the Strategic Targeted Methodology, or STM, serves to bring awareness of what the program entails and its critical role in identifying vulnerable communities and their associated risk factors. She adds that this is very essential to community resilience planning.
This new program was jointly designed with the national societies of the region in close consultations with SEDEMA, close coordination with UNDP on community early warning systems and the UN ISDR on the implementing of the post-2015 disaster risk reduction framework in the Caribbean at the local, national and regional levels are ongoing. Under the core program, two significant outcomes, and you heard Mr. Prince speak about that earlier, are the national community risk assessments and the subsequent development of the national resilience plans. And today, with the introduction of the strategic targeted methodology, the STM, this serves to bring awareness to what this STM tool is about.
Additionally, Clark Marshall says that though the strategic targeted methodology was initially conceptualized by the Red Cross, its application will only be successful with the buy-in and participation of the key national and community stakeholders.
Joint implementation of the STM will support a joint prioritization of communities at the national level so that the action plan can target the most vulnerable communities. And by doing a joint exercise through meetings, workshops, it ensures endorsement, we hope, by national governments, thus ensuring more sustainability. The IFRC hopes that this will be the foundation for the communication and advocacy strategy for other countries through the CDM strategy and be an integral part of guidelines for governments on how community resilience should be done. This approach was discussed with the national disaster organizations in the region at SEDIMA's TAC meetings in Barbados, both in 2014 and 2015, as well as ongoing discussions have been happening between the IFRC and SEDIMA.
Director of NEMO, Howie Prince, thanked the various agents responsible for creating the STM tool that will assist in the provision of aid and prioritize actions that should be targeted in specific communities which he says do not share the same level and types of vulnerabilities.
That we thank agencies which put their head together to come up with this methodology, such as the Caribbean Disaster and Emergency Management Agency, SEDIMA, the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, the Red Cross Caribbean Disaster Management Network, the Canadian Red Cross, the American Red Cross, among others, which came together and worked for a few years to produce what today we proudly salute as a very useful addition to our landscape to assist us with the process of prioritizing vulnerabilities and targeting our programming so that we can get the best results possible.
We've been experiencing some really wet weather today. The local meteorological office has issued a warning to persons living in flood-prone areas and areas prone to land slippage to continue to monitor the weather conditions and take the necessary precautions. The office says that due to the passage of a trough system, the island will experience light to moderate showers, isolated thunderstorms, and gusty winds. These conditions, it says, will continue to affect the island during the next 12 hours. In court news, the police have arrested and charged Johan Bunton, a mason of Otley Hall, for causing the death of Elroy Cruikshank by dangerous driving at Arnisville in the area of Mango Tree Bar near the roundabout. Reports are that on the date in question, Bunton ran over Cruikshank on the sidewalk with the vehicle he was driving. Cruikshank was rushed to the Accident and Emergency Department of the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital, where he succumbed to injuries. Bunton was taken before Chief Magistrate Rayshan Brown at the Serious Offences Court today, facing the indictable charge to which he was not allowed to plea. Court prosecutor Adolphus Delpesh had no objection to his bail, which was allowed in the sum of $25,000 with one surety. He was also ordered to surrender all travel documents to the court and not to leave the state without the express permission of the court. January 27th, 2016 is the date set for his next court appearance. In more local news, 6 finalists will face off in the 2015 Lions Club South Secondary School's National Public Speaking Competition, which will be held this evening at the Methodist Church Hall. The 6 debaters are Aaron Weeks from the St. Vincent Grammar School, Nadia Rogers of the Mountain View Adventist Academy, Shamar Dennis of West St. George Secondary, DeAndre Quashie of Georgetown Secondary, J.K. Mars of the Bishop's College Kingstown, and Delano King of the Trimuka, Ontario Secondary. The 5 males and lone female will debate the main topic. Our approach to homosexuality is a reflection of our failure to embrace diversity and greater tolerance for people who are different. Last year's winner was Eric February of the Mountain View Adventist Academy. First place will win a $3,000 scholarship and the prestigious Lions Club South Lime Michael DeFreitas Award. Second place will receive a $1,600 scholarship, while the third place contestant will receive a $500 scholarship. All contestants will also receive smartphones complements Lime. Lion Junior Bacchus says that everything is ready for the live event, which begins at 7:30 p.m.
The trophy then was the challenge trophy then was the Arthur Connell trophy, and we 3 years ago have decided to replace that trophy with the Lion Michael de Freitas trophy. So this trophy, as you're seeing here, is the challenge trophy that the school, the student from the winning school, is going to take this back to their school. The last winner was Eric February from the Mountain View Adventist Academy, and Eric is now being replaced by a winner that will be decided later. So I believe that tonight's activity is going to be one that people look forward to.
Bacchus says while the topic is perceived to be controversial, it is the organization's way of providing discourse and addressing issues that are affecting the nation.
3 months ago, the Prime Minister in a press conference was asked the question about his government's policy on homosexuality, and he indicated then that it's a matter that he believes civil society should engage in public discourse and advise the government. So we took up the challenge this year to put that topic to our young people, let them lead in the discussion in our country. The young people will lead this country, and tonight you will be hearing the young people leading what I is expecting to be a deep discussion on homosexuality. But it's not just about homosexuality, it's about us as a people recognizing the extent to which we must embrace diversity and tolerance to people who are different. Diversity is a matter that the Lions family have been engaging in dialogue over the last few years.
And Lions clubs throughout the world, including here in SVG, are celebrating the centennial anniversary of their organization through a series of events with a focus on 4 core areas: hunger, sight, the environment, and youth. District Governor 40B Marvin Grant, who recently visited the island, says that Lions clubs worldwide are aiming to serve 100 million persons throughout the world, and so far, some 69 million have been served. He says here in SVG, the Lions Club Public Speaking Competition is one of the ways that this organization is reaching out to the youth.
Yes, pretty soon we're celebrating 100 year and come 2017. 100 year of existence, and our international body has formulated our centennial goal, which is basically to serve 100 million persons by 30th of June 2018, which will be the end of our centennial year. There are 4 core areas in which we are asked to serve these individuals, and that is sight, hunger, youth, and the environment. So you see again the youth forms a critical part of Lionistic goals.
The Lions Club District Governor 60B, who has authority for the various clubs from the Cayman Islands to Grenada, says he is pleased with the work being carried out here through the Lions clubs and encourage members to continue to serve diligently.
Thus far, I must say that we have accomplished quite a bit. I think it's about 69 million people who have been served. So we're working strongly towards that goal. I must also say that based on the reports that I've been getting thus far, the clubs here in St. Vincent are ensuring that they are adding or contributing towards the achievement of that goal. And I know the work that they are doing here is very, very important and is well received by members of the community, right? So I want to compliment them for such work, and I want to encourage them to make it even bigger and better.
Vincentians can now enjoy a new cinematic experience as the Russell Cinema reopened on Wednesday with the capability of playing movies in 3D. At the showing of the first 3D movie here, manager of Russell Cinema, Reba Kozier, says that there will be a lot of more movies in 3D.
the 3D, the experience that you're getting now when you purchase the glasses, it's as if the characters in the movies or the props in the movies would be coming at you. There is this one scene in Pan where there is a bomb about to drop, and once you're wearing the 3D glasses, it looks as if the bomb is coming directly on you. And there are fairies also that they look as if they're coming out of the television. When I was first watching it, I was actually stretching, trying to touch the fairies, so it's really amazing. Trust me, you need to come and see a 3D movie. You would not regret it. Never, never. I cannot regret watching Pan.
Kozier also explained the problems that the cinema faced in using older technology and promises that with the new 3D technology, patrons will now be able to see movies a lot faster.
That we used to get the movies so late before was because we were working with film. Well, with film, the distribution rights for film, I think, are in Trinidad. So because of that, we will have to wait until other people have got the movie before we can show it, if they booked it before us. So now with the 3D, all we have to do is get the hard drive from the film company, we download the movie onto our projector, and then we wait until the showing date, which is whenever the movie is being released, and we can show it at the same time. So now we get the movies faster, so we can show them as soon as they come out. So there is no more waiting 2 weeks or a month to watch a movie that already came out how much ever months ago. As soon as we get it, we show it.
Oh, that was exciting news. More prizes were handed out in the Hits FM's Honk Your Horn promotion last Thursday. Percy Lampkin with license plate P8996 received a $100 voucher from Rim Auto. Bradley Goldborn with license plate PE355 also received a $100 gift voucher from Rim Auto. Also, Vandley Nanton of plate PM961 received a $100 off any tire purchase from SVG Tire. Speaking with SVG-TV News, two of the winners, Percy Lampkin and Vandley Nanton, expressed gratitude for the prizes they received.
So thanks for the promotion. It's my daughter that entered me into this thing, and I'm happy to receive it.
I want to thank Hits FM on their promotion for winning this voucher on the Honk Your Horn promotion.
The final draw takes place on Wednesday, December 16th, and all entries from October 12th will be entered into the final draw.